awesome! You people bought a ticket to see me, so shut up!
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad there's no control.
Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you live under a rock,
I might grab it bad, I don't know, my rap, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll bleed on your face just to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you gon' wish you was just a fuck up real bad. Shut up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. BX Sports Jedi Network brings to you the most energetic, most fresh, innovative podcast of the world. We have the Samurai, the Chef, the Heel, the MK, the Jedi, and we are the Heel of the Ring podcast. Salute with our main host in charge of tonight's program. We give it over to the one and only Chef Dan.
Thank you guys so much, and welcome to the Heel of the Ring podcast, where we will break down this exciting event that happened just last night. Hell in a Cell. Oh my gosh, it was hell in a cell. We've got to break down so much tonight. There were great matches that were just performed. The performances were awesome, and we have to get right into it. They started off the show excellently with the first match being the Women's Championship defended. You have the EST of the WWE, Bianca Belair, faces the Empress of Tomorrow, Becky Lynch, versus Asuka in a triple threat match. Excuse me, Heel, thank you so much. But we had this match that was very, very entertaining on my end. But I want to ask the fellas what was your assessment of the match? So I ask you, Heel, starting off, what was your thought of the match?
Well, first off, I'm going to try not to botch any names. But yes, this was a really good women's match. And just a match in general, really. And as I was watching this, I was like, you know what, AEW, this is how you book the woman. This is how you make them seem prestigious. And I feel like everyone got a chance to shine here. And this was booked
WWE
correctly. This was just booked flawlessly. I don't think there was any mess ups, any bad chemistry, anything. I just really enjoyed this match. It was really fun. I mean, yes, the ending was predictable, let's be honest, but they still made you feel like it can go either way, especially towards the end and towards the middle of the match. It was just a fun match. It was amazing. If I had to rate this match, probably like a nice solid A.
Okay, so we have the Heel grading this match an A. That's very rare from him right there. I want to ask you, Samurai. During this match, we saw a lot of athleticism from Bianca Belair. What were your thoughts in those moments about her athleticism and some of the things we saw from her?
Well, I mean, she's just naturally gifted in everything that she does. She was a track and field star at the University of Tennessee, so that's where she gets it from. I feel like, she was not going to lose this match. Even if she did, it would have been the wrong decision to make.
Okay. All right. Well, we have Bianca Belair. She's truly over. She's a great wrestler, and she's great with the fans as well. I want to ask you, MK, What were your thoughts on, the back and forth Bianca Belair had with Becky Lynch, and the back and forth that Becky Lynch had with Asuka, and things of that nature, the times that they were in the ring and when they matched up? What were your thoughts on that?
I thought it was excellent. I thought all three of these women had great chemistry, especially Asuka, who I felt like was the star of the entire match. Like, all three of these were great, but I felt like Asuka especially really kicked it into high gear. And that's what I felt like throughout all these three women in terms of their back and forth, was just nonstop, fast pace, high gear. It was just awesome. And Asuka was just going like a mad woman out there with all those strikes and stuff. It was a sight to behold. It was awesome.
I agree with you 100%. There were the flurries with the strikes, the back fists. There was a time where she even caught both Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch in a double ankle lock and just had them both in the middle of the ring. That was so exciting, and the fans were enjoying all of that. I want to ask you, Jedi, at the end, though, we had that moment where Becky Lynch could have potentially pinned Asuka and won the title, but Bianca Belair comes in out of nowhere and pulls a Becky Lynch on her. What were your thoughts on that?
That was phenomenal, because you never see the face do a heel move, and that's classic heel move. Get and take her out and just go in there and be opportunistic and get the victory there. I love that. Bianca Belair is so over. Using a heel tactic to get that victory. And one thing I want to give kudos to that match. Both ladies, all three ladies, competitors in the ring, went over 37 minutes in the ring. This was a 37-minute match. It was clean. You saw them doing somersault. There was at times you saw some of the ladies were getting a little tired, but I love the match. The fact that they kept rotating. When one will go down, and you see them getting their breaths on in the apron, down on the floor. Then they turn around, and then of course Bianca Belair doing all those somersaults, flips. Nothing botched there. Clean match. It got the crowd over. It got the crowd pumping, and of course, kudos to the crowd in Chicago. They really, really appreciate good wrestling. They are a live bunch of folks. I don't agree with the city, but that city for wrestling, they get it, they appreciate it, and they are over, Chef Dan.
I agree with you 100%. This was a very fun match. I enjoyed it from my seat. I enjoyed it watching with you. And with that being said, we have Bianca Belair. She retains the championship, but there is still some continuation that could be had, because Becky Lynch can also have her say this coming Monday Night Raw. But from that, we could move on to the next match in the on the card, which was excuse me, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this was a 2-on-1 match. MVP and the Nigerian Giant Omos versus the Almighty Bobby Lashley, where Bobby Lashley is looking to get some redemption versus MVP for the betrayal that MVP had on Bobby Lashley. But MVP himself, and he debuted it in the rap video prior to the match, he himself feels that he built Bobby Lashley, and Bobby Lashley is being an ingrate. So let me ask you, Samurai, what did you think of this match and how it unfolded?
I mean, the match for what it was very odd. I mean, you don't usually see somebody as green as Omos doing very well. I just didn't like it.
Okay, that's something that's an opinion that is very popular out there. Omos was very stiff that night. I don't think a lot of fans enjoyed this one particularly. I'm going to go straight to the heel, man. What did you think of this fight right here?
I disagree with Samurai. Personally, I get it. Big guys, they're just not popular in wrestling today. But, man, I enjoyed this match simply because the story that was being told in the ring, and it was a really good story. And it just showed that Bobby Lashley had a lot to overcome. Rather, it was MVP trying to outsmart him or Omos trying to overpower him. it was a good storytelling match. Yes, can you criticize in-ring work? Can you criticize Omos still learning? Yes, you absolutely can. Heck, if you want to, you can even criticize MVP's age. But, you know, without a doubt, this was still a good match. I felt like it was in the right place. I mean, this whole show was just booked, I think, just as good as you can in any show. And I like this match. I enjoyed it for what it was, and it told a good story. And then obviously you have Cedric Alexander getting involved. He helped, and then it looks like Cedric's turning face. And yeah, I'll give this match. I give this match probably like a B plus.
Okay, so heel, not much of a fan of the in-ring work, but the storytelling of the match he feels was very, very appropriate there. I want to ask you, MK, in the same vein of that, did you think the storytelling for this match was very appropriate? Did they get the point across of what they're trying to convey in both Bobby Lashley's story and Omos and MVP's story?
I think they did. Simply because the whole story was Bobby Lashley getting revenge on MVP, and this was a way for MVP to get an advantage by having this be a 1-on-2 handicap match. And I thought the story was appropriate, where MVP would come in when Lashley is down, and but Lashley will hulk up a little bit. But yeah, I thought the storytelling of the match was great, was really good. I thought Omos, just to maybe piggyback on what you all said earlier, I thought Omos, for as limited as he is, he's actually slowly improving, and I think these matches with Lashley has really helped him a little bit. But to answer your question overall, I thought the story within the match, did its good, it did its purpose.
Okay, so a lot of people are in agreement there that the storytelling was very accurate and they got their point across. Omos is evolving as a prospect on the scene. Some things to clean up, but he's moving along there. Jedi, what were your thoughts on this match and the results? You see even Bobby Lashley getting MVP in that master lock and getting MVP to quit. That was symbolic in and of itself right there. So what did you think of that? And to heel's credit, bringing up Cedric Alexander coming in and being a nuisance to Omos.
Yeah, I'm hope that this feud comes to a conclusion, and also I understand what the storyline, like you said, heel. Good job on the storyline, because you got a big giant here, this young, 28, 29-year-old young man, and a giant in Omos. You don't want him to be buried and thinking of a novelty or one-dimensional. So you book this angle with MVP here. Now, Omos did not lose, but MVP did. And it also gets Bobby Lashley over to win and move on. You saw at the end of the match, Bobby Lashley signaling that he wants a title contention. Now, it looms big, because later down the road, as we're going to get into the main event, we all know the speculation with Cody that, he has an injury. That opens up now new contenders, a new opportunity, and maybe you could bring a Lashley now to go.
Jedi froze a little.
Am I still back here? Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So now you bring another storyline where now Lashley is now into heavyweight contention. Move on. And Omos doesn't look like he lost, because who lost was MVP. Now that Cedric Alexander situation there, would it be like a double cross? Is he turning face? Is he going to cross Bobby Lashley? There's still a little developing there. I think the writers still don't know how we're going to do the storyline, because right now WWE is a little uncertain with their storyline and their booking, where they're going. But now you can move Omos somewhere else to fight someone different. And I hope that puts a stop for it for now. But all in all, like you said, heel, I thought the storyline, I give the storyline a B. The wrestling match itself, I'll give it a C, due to the fact that if it was supposed to be a 2-on-1, they kind of tag. You never see that, or tagging in and out like a regular tag team battle. I understand why they were doing it, but usually it's all pandemonium. But all in all, I understand where they went with that. I understand where they're trying to go here, and it'll be interesting to see now with creative team in WWE where they go with it.
So yeah, Jedi, like you said, there was a lot of structure provided in this match. I guess kind of to help mold Omos and help him grow as a prospect. But we shall see what happens there with him. Lashley, like you pointed out, wants a title run, and the crowd was really enamored with him taking that title from a fan and showing that he wants that title. So we shall see. We can move on from that match into a weird match for me. This one, the promo was weird, but to me, I felt was a very solid and good match. We have Ezekiel versus Kevin Owens. Or is it Elias?
It's Ezekiel. Get it right.
Ezekiel versus Kevin Owens. I'll ask you, Heel, what did you think of the matchup?
I had a lot of fun watching this, and just like anything else in WWE, this had a great storytelling aspect to it, and I was eating it up. You know, there are just some things that are cheesy that fall in their faces, and then there's other things that just you just soak it all in. You know, the Great Wars of Jericho. You know, soak it all in, man, and all that. But yeah, this was just a fun match to watch, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, obviously, just like anything else on this card, there's some criticism, and I can give it that. But for what this match was supposed to do, it did really good. And again, proper spot on the card. Again, it was just a really fun match. I get it why probably you see it why it was weird, but I I mean I don't know what else to say. It was a really good match.
Okay. So Heel enjoyed this match as much as I did.
Yeah.
One of the things that stood out for me personally was Kevin Owens and his wrestling ability. He's great as a promo guy. He's so good at cutting promos and what he does that I sometimes if I forget myself, not being as much as an avid a wrestling watcher as these guys are, how good he is in ring. Samurai, I want to ask you, what did you think of Kevin Owens and his in-ring ability with Ezekiel? Some of the things we saw from Kevin Owens there.
Wow. It's not Ezekiel, it's Elias. But
It's Ezekiel. Get it right, dude.
Elias. No.
It's Ezekiel.
He actually is a very good
going back to his time on the Indies, and I don't know. I just find it satisfying that he's actually getting to do something of value instead of just being a comedy act like most people think he is.
So you're very appreciative of the chance he's getting in Hell in a Cell, being able to execute and show that in-ring wrestling ability. MK, I'm gonna hand it off to you and ask you, Ezekiel in that ring, man. We saw him even get cut open, but he was fighting back. He was showing some great wrestling ability there, matching up with Kevin Owens. What were your thoughts on Ezekiel and his in-ring ability?
I think Ezekiel did a solid job in the ring. We all know his brother in the ring, Elias. His brother was also a decent wrestler in the ring. But he did fairly well for himself in the ring. He ain't no Shawn Michaels, but he did pretty well for himself in the ring.
All right, I want to bring it right back to the Jedi, man. Jedi, what were your thoughts on this match? Because you and I watching this match, the moves that Kevin Owens were pulling out and the way Ezekiel was able to take it head on, he showed he could take damage. When he got rammed into the pole, it was no hand trying to block it. He took one on the chin and then kept moving along, and he got his back, and the match was back and forth. It was fun. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, the match was phenomenal. Kevin Owens, remember he main evented WrestleMania recently with Stone Cold, and the right person won over this match first and foremost. Remember, Ezekiel is supposed to be the younger brother who doesn't have much wrestling experience. It would have been a farce if he would have got that victory over Kevin Owens. I like Kevin Owens, that second rope moonsault that he pulled out. You know, all in all, they both guys, phenomenal match. Ezekiel, boy, when didn't he give you chills? I know my wife said immediately, he is looking, they should have let him grow the beard, because when he did that flying elbow from the top ropes, my goodness, it reminded me of the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Holy crap. And that was kind of, I think that was kind of a little bit of an homage to the Macho Man. You know, remember, McMahon said that's the reason why the beard went away, because the reason why he looks too much in ring like the Macho Man Randy Savage. And I guess McMahon felt a little eerie, or whatever the case is, why he don't want to go with that route. But he looked at more, you know, I thought Kevin Owens got over. And let me tell you something, this program worked well. No, I don't think it would have worked with any other wrestler well with Kevin. Kudos to Kevin Owens. It started off as a comedy bit that wasn't really all right. It was something, a filler, and it turned out to what we have currently now. It's a really good program. I think it comes to an end, to be honest with you. I think they won't. Guys are going to start moving on along to something different, but it's still going to be in Kevin Owens' mind always to say it's Elias, and even if even in 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the road, and he sees him again, he goes, "That's Elias." It's still going to be funny, and WWE got it right, and it entertained us. And I thought that whole segment and that whole feud, I give it an A+ on that feud. I loved it.
All right. So we have the opinions of the boys on that match, and we'll move on from that one to a chaotic matchup. This next one here, we have the Judgment Day, comprised of Edge, Damian Priest, and Liv Morgan versus, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley versus AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan. This match, to me, Jedi, I'm going to ask you first what you thought of this match, because you and I shared some comparable thoughts on this. You got to take your first bite. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a mixed tag match with these three members of the group here. I thought, you saw a lot of Morgan and Ripley going at it, and we also saw something that I love, and I know you mentioned it, and you mentioned it twice, was the resurgence and of classic AJ Styles, twice off the top ropes with the phenomenal punch, phenomenal, and he forearm. Was it the forearm, or was it it looked like a punch to me?
Yeah,
it's a forearm. It looks like a punch, isn't it? Yeah.
It looked at classic, and the elevation that he had off the springboarding off those ropes was phenomenal. I thought the match was well done. Only criticism I will have is, I know Judgment Day won. I wish they would have won in a classic heel form, and not just a clean victory. Just done something, distraction of the referee, and done some kind of, something like, oh, these damn guys, they won again with the referee distracted. Instead of getting a pure clean win there, I would have liked that. Everyone was anticipating a new member, or maybe a possibly heel partner turning, either from Finn Balor or Liv Morgan. I don't think that's going to happen, although it could happen. It could happen this Monday night. There's rumors and thoughts about that, but we can still, Judgment Day is not quite there over yet, in my opinion. I think I like the facet of it, but I think it's missing something. I don't know if you guys would agree or not, but all in all, the match was good. Just I wish that the heels would have won with a different form or typical heel fashion. That's all I got to say on that.
Okay, so then, heel, I see you chomping at the bit. I'm going to let you get right into it. What were your thoughts on this matchup here?
Yeah, they did actually win in typical heel form, because I don't know if you remember or not, Kev, but remember when Finn Balor was about to win, he literally had Edge on the mat, ready for the 1, 2, 3. All he had to do was hit his finisher, and Rhea Ripley came in. It was like, no, not today. You're not hitting that. And Liv Morgan came in, and just when he thought she was about to save the day, Edge, reversed it and got that spear off in 1, 2, 3. So they did win in heel way. So I disagree with Kev on that. But overall, though, this match was just really, really good. I mean, and what else do you expect from guys like, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Edge, and even Damian Priest? Damian Priest is a bit of an underdog in this whole entire feud. He's kind of like I guess you say the Liv Morgan on the other side, in the sense of like you don't really know what to expect of him in his faction. All you can know is he's going to do good, and I hope that him and Liv Morgan really do break out in this feud, because I think both of them have really a lot of untapped potential. Like Rhea Ripley, we already seen what she can do, her ceiling, so to speak. But what is Priest's ceiling? What is Liv's ceiling? And overall, I just enjoyed this match. It was so fun to watch, and just the finish made sense. Everything, and again, just great match. Probably give it a nice solid B.
Okay. So the heel giving this match a B. I want to ask you, Samurai, because starting off the match, Liv Morgan, AJ Styles, and Finn Balor had this impressive combination move. It seemed like they experimented a little bit and had fun in the ring there. What were your thoughts on that?
You mean the assisted Hurricane Rana?
Yeah.
I actually thought that was pretty impressive. I mean, they have chemistry, and they just started teaming together like as a three-piece like three weeks ago, and I find that pretty amazing. But I want to ask, does anybody know when AJ Styles got busted open? Because I cannot figure that out.
I think it's from an Edge punch. I'm not sure,
Because
but yeah.
After the fact, he was. But after, I think it was like after that Topic on Hero that they all did on the outside, but I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I mean the chemistry between all six of these competitors is amazing.
Yeah, the blood did help this pay-per-view.
The blood,
really did.
yeah, the blood made it even better than it usually is.
Yeah, and we even saw Rhea Ripley. She loves having fun with her costumes. So she went from Batman to this one here being the Joker, and she even did, the finger thing of putting a smile on your face, which was very, very good for the camera. I really enjoyed that one right there.
She's having fun. She's having real quick. I'm sorry. She's having fun in that new role in Judgment Day. You could see it there.
Yes, she loves being a heel. She's having fun doing it. But we can move on from that match there into this no holds barred match right here. Happy Corbin versus Madcap Moss. This one went everywhere and nowhere. All everywhere in the place. I want to ask you, Samurai, what were your thoughts on this match right here?
Well, I mean, I liked the match. I don't know what else to say about it. It was a good match. The right person won. I think that they really should strap the rock into Madcap Moss and give him a little bit more. I wouldn't say personality, but give him a little bit more. Time to compete. I really would say that they would change his name back to Riddick because he deserves it. Madcap was a Happy Corbin thing, so I think they should just go ahead and change him. Give him a new name.
No, why would you give him a good name? What?
All right, so that Samurai, he thinks that they should possibly give Madcap a new name. He should take on a new identity. Jedi, you have some thoughts on that?
I like Madcap. He fits what Vince McMahon looks for. That physique, tall, well built, as well as Ezekiel, who's well built, and that physique. There's nothing wrong with the Kevin Owens wrestling. He could put himself over on the microphone and he could still wrestle. But let's face it, McMahon looks for a gladiator, like a John Cena gladiator type to put the strap and parade him as his grand champion of Triple H. If you could see that pattern that McMahon likes and fit Madcap, I agree. Riddick will sound better. Think about it. he has potential of if he were to headline a WrestleMania. Do you want a red line? How are you going to go Roman Reigns versus Madcap Moss or Roman Reigns versus Riddick? Just think about it. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not going to say it's happening, but put yourself, and that's why I kind of agree with what Samurai says on that. All in all, the match was good. And let me something. One of the most underappreciated, underrated wrestler is Happy Corbin. Corbin is a really good wrestler. You know, his gimmicks, I couldn't too care, but he's there for the company. He takes the bumps. He also puts on a good show there. They both put a really good match. He is big. He's also another one, that classic heel of a WWE heel, the height, the physique, the ring ability, and the storyline telling. Both guys did a phenomenal job. You may not like, you know, and remember, this is a mid-card, but all in all, for a mid-card match, this was excellent. It was entertaining. It was good. And if Madcap they don't see him going on forward as a mid-card or singles, me personally, I would love, it's just me, fantasy booking, just me being a fantasy booker, I would love to see Madcap Moss in a tag team with Braun Breaker, and there you go, your new Steiner brothers.
Okay. So a lot of people are in agreement that Madcap has a lot of potential. Jedi, you brought something up that I want to bring up and ask Heel about. Happy Corbin, you said it. He takes a lot of bumps. There was even a moment where he got hit with a chair in the head, or Madcap rammed his head into the chair that was, propped up, that was stuck in between the first and the second turnbuckle, and you saw Happy Corbin's eyes were just glazed over. The way he sold a lot of the damage was on point. What were your thoughts on that, Heel?
Oh yeah, Happy Corbin, he's a phenomenal wrestler. He really is. He's you can make a case he's the most underrated wrestler right now, and rather that is because of his gimmick or just because he's in WWE. I don't know, but point is like he is one of the most underrated talents in today's wrestling, and should be a lot more over than what he is. If I'm being honest with you, is the gimmick holding him back? You can make a case, but overall the gimmick it works. If anything, I like the fact that he comes out all happy and positive and all that, and then you just find out how vicious he is. And he's tried the whole, I'm dark and vicious gimmick in the past. We all know that, and it didn't go over as good as this one. So maybe it is just a gimmick problem. I don't know. But point is though, is literally this again, no one could tell a story like WWE, especially at their best. And this whole pay-per-view had great storytelling matches. And this is another one. This is no exception. And props to commentary, by the way, when Baron Corbin reversed Madcap Moss charging him for the chop block. And they literally pointed out, hey, Baron Corbin's been in football. He knows how to take people down and all that. I'm just like, that's brilliant that they pointed that out on commentary. That was a great moment for commentary. And yeah, just the back and forth these guys had, and then the way it ended and everything like that. This match, you can argue. I'll be honest with you. I'll go as far as to say you can make a case this was the second or third, if not arguably, match of the night because of how good the storyline was. The storytelling in the match, how clean it was, everything. And I don't think Madcap Moss needs to change his name because he's already getting over with the name. So there's no point in trying to take that back from him. Could he change it in the future? Sure. That in the future, that's fine. But first, let him see how he gets over as Madcap Moss, and then we'll go from there. And Madcap Moss is just proving that he's here to stay. And I like this whole thing. And personally, I'm gonna give this match an A because I feel like I have to.
Okay, so the heel even mentioned it. The fact that Madcap Moss was able to end the match on the same way that Happy Corbin potentially could have ended his career with that neck injury type damaging maneuver right there. MK, I want to ask you, in regards to this match, no holds barred between Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss, what were your thoughts on the action in the ring? The way Happy Corbin was able to sell a lot of the damage. The way Madcap is being a prospect that is coming over and over, we're seeing the growth of him. And Happy Corbin, even though the gimmick isn't, everyone here is in agreement that the gimmick isn't isn't right for him. He's still a great storyteller. What were your thoughts on that?
I thought the match. First off, sorry that I cut out over there. So I just wanted to apologize about that. And as far as the match is concerned, I thought much like the handicap match from earlier. I thought it told a nice story. I like the callback from what happened to Madcap a couple weeks ago with the steel chair spot. I thought that was a really nice touch. You know, I have to agree with Heel over here. I think Corbin is a very underrated wrestler, even though the gimmick is, I feel like in a way it's kind of holding him back, so to speak. I feel like Happy Corbin isn't really, I don't know. I feel like there's not a lot of shelf life there with that character. Maybe it is down the line. I'm not sure. But I thought for the most part, the match itself was serviceable, was solid, and yeah, I want to see what Madcap Moss can do going forward. So, yeah.
Before we move on, Earl Cole, whatever your name is, I said it's the third, if not arguably, match of the night. I didn't say it was. Get your facts right. So yeah,
It's okay, but we we're all in agreement here that we want to see Madcap Moss more. We want to see what is coming down the line for him. He is a potential heavyweight contender, potential guy that could hold the strap and be the face of the company. We all want to see that, and we all want to see what they can do creatively with Happy Corbin. From there, we can move on to another title match that was on the card. This one, United States Championship. We have Theory versus Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali returning into his home state of Chicago. He was very over with the crowd. I want to just right away get into it with Jedi. I want to ask you, what were your thoughts on that match?
Yeah, here we go and showcasing two of the young talents in the WWE right now to the United States title. The crowd. One thing I knew when I saw this match, and we know that Mustafa Ali is from Chicago, and when you're in WWE, and if you fight and you wrestle in your hometown or you wrestle on your birthday, you are not going to win. And typical WWE form, unfortunately, it happened. But I really enjoy this match. The commentary, the only thing I can say, the commentary was a little lackluster. I wish they would have gave me more. I felt like they were a little winded, and they didn't hype this match. In-ring performance, I think Austin Theory and Mustafa Ali, they really connected. They were back and forth. It was a quick pace match. They were back and forth. It was a high quick. You saw some moonsaults, some opportunities there. When I thought Mustafa Ali came off the ropes and hit and missed with that, I thought, oh my God, he's actually going to put. Wow, he's actually going to get a hometown victory. And of course, Theory moves out. All in all, I really thought the match was good. I wish the commentaries would have helped it. Personally, I wish this match would have been called by Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. To be honest with you, rather than the other guys. I really wish they didn't do a disservice to this match. They actually, to me, they bored it a little bit. Just my opinion. That's just my opinion. But the match was not. The commentary was. And let's see what happens now to Ali here. Where does he go? What situation? Austin Theory as well. Do they continue this feud? Maybe not. It'll be interesting to see. Does Mustafa Ali now go after the Miz? He has some busy, so we'll find out on that. But all in all, these are the young talent of the WWE here being displayed here, and I wish the commentators again would have gave it a better, more work on that, in my opinion.
Okay, so like Jedi said, Mustafa Ali was in his hometown. He was not. Vince was not going to allow him to win in his hometown. But Jedi feels like the commentary may have taken away from the match. Samurai, I want to ask you. Some people had the thought that maybe the promotion leading up to the fight maybe took away from it, because this match was very, very interesting, but the promo maybe didn't do it justice. What were your thoughts on that? Or did you think that, it was maybe the commentary night of that kind of took away from it?
Well, the commentary basically, yeah, to Jedi's point, the commentary didn't do it much justice, and the subsequent promos leading up to it, you kind of figure that they're not gonna give Mustafa Ali the chance, although he deserves it. Yes, I just don't know when they're gonna give him that the ball and let him run with it.
Okay, so Samurai feels that Mustafa Ali could maybe deserve a chance of more of getting it a more run. MK, I want to ask you, do you think that Mustafa Ali was kind of given the short stick of this matchup? Do you think that maybe there's really not much for him after this match? What were your thoughts there?
I wouldn't say he got the short end of the stick here. I think it's one of those things where if you were to say he was going to get the short end of the stick, he would have you could have saw that over the last few weeks on Raw, the way they've had him lose week after week after week. But I thought he did really well for himself in this match. But the star of the match isn't Ali, it's Theory. Theory's the one that they're pushing right now. This is not Ali's time right now. Doesn't mean it will not happen, but this is about building Theory right now. And I think Ali being in his hometown, he got the reaction, so it helped Theory get some heat. The match was good. But again, I think it was one of those things where it's more about Theory and his run as US champion more than Ali. So I don't think he really got the short end of the stick, because I don't think it was meant to be that way, in my opinion.
Okay, so MK feels like it's Theory's time right now. The right guy won, and he's going to move on, and he feels like there could potentially be more excitement with Theory. What are your thoughts on that, Heel? Because I think 2 out of 3 people here feel like Mustafa Ali maybe could have gotten more of a chance. MK feels like Theory, it's his time. What are your thoughts, Heel?
I kind of agree. He could have gotten probably more of a chance. The problem was, I feel like the crowd got behind him a little bit too late. The good news for Ali though is that after this pop, Vince might consider giving him a slight push, at least more of a one, because Vince, he'll give the fans what he wants, especially if they're going to cheer that loudly for him. Now, will he look at this as like, oh, it's just a home crowd thing, so, one off? Yeah, he might. So I guess tonight on Raw, we're going to get that question answered. Is Ali still going to get the push to probably go for Theory or another big feud? We'll see. But yeah, I think we all knew that this match was going to lead to just Theory retaining, because let's be honest, like MK said, they're trying to build Theory, and you can't necessarily have a champion that you can't overcome, right? I mean, Theory has to be built up more in order to feel like an obstacle. And right now, Theory doesn't. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The fact that some people thought Ali had a chance goes to show that Theory isn't built up all the way yet. Because I want to go in, and I think every wrestling fan can admit, when a number one contender goes in to face a champion, you want to feel like that champion has a fair chance of retaining. And that goes for any sport, to be honest with you, whether it's UFC, boxing, what have you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. Heel feels that Theory is not quite there yet, and the way Mustafa Ali is kind of got that excitement, there could be a possibility here that maybe instead of trying to push Theory away from Mustafa Ali, there could be a potential here for maybe a budding rivalry, something here where these guys maybe have a rematch, things of that nature. We could potentially see down the line. But now, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get to it. The main event, the one we were all here for, and the news reports came out about it. It was definitely a sight to behold when this guy took off his jacket. But the match I'm referring to is Cody Rhodes versus Seth freaking Rollins. Part 3. Hell in a Cell. Heel. I want to first ask you this question before you get into your thoughts of the match. The rumors were throughout the entire night. People thought that maybe the injury was a job, a work. Then he gets into the ring. He takes off that jacket, and that bleeding and hemorrhaging and bruising is there. Did you think it was a work, or did you think it was like the injury was real and that Cody was just a gamer moving through?
So me and my friend were obviously watching this on the PlayStation 4, and we were debating back and forth, and he was like, I think that's makeup, and I was like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm in between. It could be. I'm like, I'm not sure. And I was on the fence all day, even at the end of the pay-per-view. And then finally, I think it was later on today, I ended up watching a YouTube video, ironically, about how, you can tore your pec muscle. Because ironically, he was covering Cody Rhodes. And it turned out the injury was real. And that, and again, it didn't take away from the match. Rather, it was real or fake. Because either way, it made the match probably like a kabillion times better than what it was supposed to be. I mean, but to answer your question, like, yeah, I was on the fence the whole night, and I think I'm pretty sure everyone else was too. Because obviously, I'm pretty sure none of us have torn our pec, because a lot of us don't really either have time to work out or work out in general. So I mean, I don't. Look at me. So I don't know what it's like to tear your pec.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in total agreement with you there. I think it's unfortunate to say, but the injury did definitely it raised the impact of the match, and that was felt all throughout the evening. I watched a video myself earlier. Salute to Dr. Brian Sutterer, where he made a video kind of detailing where the bruising was for Cody, and he convinced me, as well as me watching the match throughout the night, not seeing any smudges or anything of that nature, that pec was torn off the bone, and that essentially I don't think any doctor, he felt that there was no doctor that could have convinced Cody otherwise, because now that the pectoral muscle was completely torn off, he couldn't damage it anymore. So that's what he decided to do going into the ring. But I want to ask you, Samurai, about that match, man, because that was gutsy. You even have Seth Rollins. He comes out, he teases us all, and then he reveals it in the Dusty Rhodes outfit. He comes out, man. What were your thoughts on that?
I mean, I found it to be not disrespectful, but I would say paying homage to his trainer, one of his trainers in NXT. Like, most people would say it was a disrespect thing, but it really wasn't. It was more like him paying homage to his trainer. That's the way it goes, and that's the way it has to be.
And your thoughts on the match overall?
My thoughts on the match, it was phenomenal. It was kind of hard to watch at points, but it was great. Oh no.
So we have people that were so in worry of Cody Rhodes that they were cringing, and that's the effect that WWE wants. They want you to cringe. Even with Seth Rollins coming out in that outfit, he is paying an homage, but even if he is the adversary to Cody Rhodes, we know that right there, in order for him to get into his head, he has to do something like that, and that was a great heel move there. MK, what were your thoughts on that and the matchup overall?
I thought the match was a match of the year candidate, and Cody and Seth, each time they step into the ring, they've got better and better and better. Um, Props to Seth for being a very safe worker with Cody, and props to Cody for enduring the pain throughout the entire match. Um, Seth doing his classic trolling heel stuff with the polka dots and whatnot. I love the callback with the bull rope and the cowbell too. I thought that was great as well. Um, just overall, this whole match, you know, you rarely would call any matches these days. Well, a lot of people would, but to me, I thought this was what you would call a 5-star match. I thought the story was there. I thought this match, being a side Hell in a Cell, was needed. It did the match its due. Um, just overall phenomenal stuff between the two. And you got to give props to both guys, man. You got to give props to both guys, man. They killed it.
I agree.
So, MK, I think we're all in agreement here. That was an exciting match. The bull rope aspect, something. Thank you so much for bringing that up. That was exciting. The way he put it on, he threw it to Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins more than obliged, and that was an exciting moment of the match. The way they used different weapons to, just accentuate the matchup was very exciting, very, very fun. But I want to ask some people, Jedi, I want to throw this question to you. Some people out there had an issue with Cody Rhodes using the sledgehammer to end the match. Did you have any issue with it? And what were your thoughts on the matchup overall yourself?
With the sledgehammer, no. It's staple in WWE. It's a Hell in a Cell match. One thing, the match was phenomenal. One thing that the crowd got, and they were going crazy when they pulled the tables out. They wanted the tables. They were thanking them for getting the tables out. We saw Seth Rollins go through the table. Of course, back to the belt, the broken belt. Back to the NWA days, back into Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. They used to have a lot of those kind of matches with the cowbell and the rope. Dusty Rhodes was in a lot of those matches. If you look it up, if you look back on the history of NWA or AWA wrestling, they had a lot of those kind of matches. Rhodes was in phenomenal battles as there, the father, and I loved it. Kudos to Samurai Swell as well. I wanted to give you props for letting us know and reminding us that Dusty Rhodes was Seth Rollins, one of his instructors down in NXT. I loved it. I had no problems with the ending. You had to, and also now that we all know Cody's going to be out for quite some time now, but you didn't bury Seth Rollins, because now Seth Rollins is still over, and you could still, Seth Rollins, if he wants, you could book him to for money, win Money in the Bank, have that opportunity there, and he could actually challenge. So Roman Reigns I would love to see that. And he's not buried, even though I don't think Seth Rollins since Royal Rumble hasn't really gotten a win. Just remember, he lost consecutive matches just to get on the WrestleMania. Remember, he was losing. He tried to get those spots for Owens. He hasn't won in quite some time. But he's still freaking over, despite having won it. We haven't seen him get a clean victory in a while, and he's still over. And we could actually book him in the main event, and we'll still be engaged to watch. And that is a classic. Like Earl said, great heel work, and that's exactly what he's doing. And I love it, because not only he's doing it on the main roster, he also is taking people under his wing. And like Nathan Frazier in NXT and so forth. And he is taking that knowledge and spreading it out. I love what Seth Rollins is doing. He is in his prime, and we love it. And cool for Cody. You could say he welcome back Cody Rhodes, the American Warrior, because that's what he went out there and he became a warrior, gutted out wrestler. I know people were saying, "Oh, WWE puts harm of his wrestlers, that he should have not went out there." Rose cut a promo, said he's going to address it tonight. He wanted to come out there. Doctors, listen, if this would have gotten worse than it was, guarantee he would have not wrestled. He would have not went out there. McMahon was not going to just sign this guy couple of weeks ago, let's say 6-8 weeks ago. If he's not going to jeopardize his career, he's got a lot of money invested in pyros, in all bookings. If it wasn't going to be any worse, he would have not went out there. And Cody, every time I identify myself, every time he couldn't lift, I'm like, oh, the pain, the aches and pain of work. It's nothing compared to a muscle tear, but I identify with it, and it captivated me because I put myself in that shoes, trying to work, even if on a 9-to-5 job with some back issues or back pain, and it identifies and it hits the common man, just like his dad. Remember his introduction to his music. He's just the common man, and that hit. And I think and unfortunately, it was an injury. It wasn't planned. It wasn't scripted. They took a negative and made it to a positive, and it captivated us and elevated us. And that's what wrestling does. The storyline, it captivated us, and I give it a chef kiss, A+. The match of the night, and Hell in a Cell, phenomenal.
Most definitely. I think we all give it the chef's kiss right there, as it was an exciting overall event. So just last question to ask you guys before we get out of here. Quickly, what's your letter grade for the overall event? Starting off with you, Heel. What's your letter grade for the overall event?
Even though this pay-per-view was well paced and the booking was magnificent, I still wish there would have been more meat on the bone, so to speak. Because as you saw, there was no major title being defended. Roman took a break and all that. But I still have to give this not an A+, but a solid probably A. Just because everything about this show was consistent. It was well paced. It was going by fast. I didn't feel like I was just sitting there and being bored. The main event, as we all just agree on, was phenomenal. And by the way, props to Seth Rollins. Again, one of the safest workers. I don't know how he does it, even though he still does flips and all that. But still, phenomenal worker. And just overall, really good pay-per-view. Got to give it easy A.
Okay, so Heel gives it an A. Samurai, real quick, letter grade for the overall event. What do you give it?
I'm going to give it an A, same as Heel over here.
All right. Samurai gives it an A. MK, what about you?
I'd give it an A-.
Okay. So 3 A's. MK gives it A-. Jedi, what do you give it?
Despite this being a what they say a filler pay-per-view, you said no major titles were defended. And you had the United States title, and defended Dakota. Hell in a Cell match was setting up something. There was no botch moves. It did not go over 4 hours long like some other pay-per-views that we watched on Memorial Weekend that we were bored out. It was 12:30 at night, and we were like, please end this crap. No, it was short and sweet. It was very entertaining. It was well done. It was, and it was really good. Now, I'm going to give it an A. A+. If there were some titles defended there, but it was to the point. Nothing botched. Everything was smooth. That's what you want in a pay-per-view or a premium event. You want everything to go smooth. Performers in and out. It was, and the crowd was electric from start to finish. The crowd was entertained. They got their money's worth, and that's why I give it an A.
All right. For me, before we get off tonight, I just want to give my grade. I know everyone gives it an A. I'm going to give it an A+, regardless of the titles that were not defended on it, because I don't think there were any matchups built up to have those titles defended in Hell in a Cell. I know Roman Reigns is taking a break right now. They have made sure to not really build up any opponents that were worthy enough to get him in the Hell in a Cell. So for what it was, it executed. You want a wrench to do what a wrench does. If it doesn't, then it's not a wrench. The wrench did its job. I'll give it an A+ myself. But once again, thank you guys so much for joining us on whether it be audio platform on Spotify, Google, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or a Spreaker, wherever you get your podcasts from. Thank you guys so much on the YouTube platform for joining us. Rayanne, thank you so much. Earl Cole, thank you so much. And please continue to support the brand as we grow larger and larger and continue to do more things to help you guys enjoy what we enjoy, which is this wrestling business. Thank you guys so much. Have a good day. Peace.
I'm awesome! You people bought a ticket to see me, so shut up!
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no control.
Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you live under a rock,
I might
you
grab
are
a bat, I
looking at
don't
the
know my
youngest
rap, my
and
blood
best
boils over
rising
like,
star in
oh God, here
professional
goes. I lost all
wrestling
feeling from my